Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickback presents the All Memphis Post Game Show, where we recap, review, analyze every Memphis Grizzlies and or Memphis Tigers game right after they happen. You don't have to wait for our takes. With me, per usual, is the homie Mace. Mace, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm just finished up dancing a little bit, dancing my way to the Final Four of this NIT, baby. Hey, you remember how it started in the Cal years? It all started with the NIT tournament win. So, no, I'm feeling good. Tough game to watch. Not a lot of good offense in this one. A lot of turnovers, but not as many as we've seen in the past. So, what matters in March is you survive in advance, and that's what the Tigers did. They're learning how to win. They're continuing to grow as a team. I thought it was hilarious that Corey Alexander, the announcer, brought up the stat about them being one of the youngest and least experienced teams in college basketball, and he's like, "Hold on now, DeAndre Williams is 24. Like, this stat is skewed."
I don't know how they calculate that because Alo is a junior and he's been playing meaningful games since he was a freshman. Then all the other guys are at least sophomores and they played more than half a season. They played,
but most other teams, like for the most part, are junior and senior heavy, or at least have more than one junior or senior in the rotation. Like, well, I guess Williams is a senior, but that's how it goes.
I want him though, and I love the fact, and maybe because they were wearing the jerseys, but the announcer kept calling them Memphis State.
Yep.
Which I thought was funny.
And Corey Alexander set up the white announcer. He was like, do you think Jaden had to get number 1 unretired? He's like, well, actually, we're number 25. Gotcha.
I got mad about that because I got mad, but I was like, they just showed a highlight package that included like 8 highlights from Penny in college where you could clearly see him wearing the number 25. Now, granted, they might, who knows when what's going on. They weren't in the arena looking at the same screen. Dude might have had his. Come on, now you got to know that type of stuff. And here's the thing, listeners. You can tell them we much to talk about with this game because we just started talking about everything else that the announcer said. The long and short of it is the Tigers won, and we'll catch you next episode. It's the quickest episode we did.
It looked like it was going to be a quick episode early on when Boise State jumped out on us 15-5 within the first 5 minutes. I mean, I think we called the timeout came with 14:53 left, and we're down 10. They hit some tough shots, and we weren't even really turning it over too much. But we weren't making any shots, and they made a couple tough ones. They had a couple floaters in the lane, one over Musa, and it's 15-0. I'm like, oh man, like my text messages are getting hit. And I'm like, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know how negative everyone is right now because I feel like that just piles onto the team, so I don't want to contribute to that. But
I was definitely being negative. I called my dad and talking to him about something, and I called him and I was like, what you doing, Pops? He was like, man, cussing these Tigers out. And I'm like, well, I had to tell him. A quick aside, I set my dad up for a COVID shot. I got him an appointment for his second COVID shot tomorrow. I got both my parents' appointments for their second COVID shots tomorrow. And I set it up like 2 weeks ago when I got my second one. And I didn't talk to him this week. So I was like, okay, let me call him today to remind him about getting the car. You got your shot tomorrow. You need to be here at this time at this place. I called him, man, and he like, yeah, man, I got my second shot on Monday. I'm like, bro, like, you didn't want to tell me? He's like, nah, man. I mean, I had a busy week. I had a lot of stuff going, and I'm glad you told me. But yeah, I got, I got that taken care of on Monday because his 2 weeks was last Friday. So anytime after last Friday, he could have got his shot. So I'm like, okay, man. And then he's talking about, man, let me call you back. Your uncle calling me. I know he cussing these Tigers out too. So the first 10 minutes of the game had everybody in Memphis cussing the Tigers out. And Roy, nobody cares that Houston won the state championship. Nobody cares. It took a global pandemic and all the good teams in Shelby County not playing for Houston to win and for them to go get the 5 best players in the city to be on their team. But that's a show for another day.
Hey, they didn't just in the city; they were bringing them out of state too.
They went and got out of state dudes, and then they put NBA coaches on the bench. Anyway, the Tigers' first 10 minutes had everybody in Memphis mad at them, and it was just like a regular Memphis Tigers game. It was a roller coaster. It was ups and downs and ups and downs. They look good, they look bad. They get a 10-point lead, they blow a 10-point lead. They get down by 6, they come back. It was their whole season in one.
Yeah, I mean, after we called that timeout once we're down 10, then we ran a play for DJ on the block, got 2 points, and next thing you know, we're on a 9-0 run. Defense really turned up, and it's just, the story of the season, how Jekyll and Hyde this team can be. My favorite, one of the best plays of the game, I thought Musa caught it in the post in the first half, and this is when we took the lead, and they were in a 2-3 zone. He caught it in the post. He brought the ball over his head and looked opposite side, kicked it out to DeAndre Williams for a wide open 3, and that gave us a 19-17 lead. We ended up pushing it up to like 6. But even, dude, as we were building the lead, we were turning the ball over. Damian Ball literally handed the ball to a Boise State guy. I don't know what he was trying to do, but like it was a great pass, just the wrong team. Like if he was on our team shooting a 3, would have been great. But instead, he just handed it off and he took off and scored.
It was like some of their turnovers are laughable, per usual. Boogie got a fast start. He hit the first bucket, which was a 3. Traded 3s. Musa had a good block. They caught a foul on him when he blocked that dude's dunk and he fell down hard. I thought that was a nice little play. But that first half was they ended up up by 3 at the end of the first half.
5.
About 5.
31-26. Boogie had 9.
Yeah.
Landers couldn't get anything going for most of the game. He had 3 turnovers in the first half. And, I mean, there was points in the game where you're like, dude, like, Landers has got to get out. At one point, I said that about Malcolm. Like, we had some rough stretches. We shot 43% in the first half. Once again, we did not make free throws. We finished 6 of 15. Like, could have easily lost us this game. And then we come out in the second half and like they had to do Shaver hit that deep 3. Then Lester just hits a contested 3 like he's been doing it all game. Like it's like, where is that? He only shot 3 shots tonight. 2 of them were down from downtown. He was 3 for 3, had 10 points. And it's like, and then down the stretch, Penny took him out when he brought Musa back in. And I'm sorry, but if there's one player on the team that I'm not taking out of the game in crunch time, is Lester Quinones.
He took Lester out after that double foul deep in the game, and Musa came in and quickly gave up a bucket that tied the game up or even put them up by 1. And I was like, that's one. Well, if I'm skipping to the second half, one of the things I noticed was, and just the lineups that he played, we don't have much interior. We have size in terms of height, but we don't have much interior defense. So like at one point, Boise State just kind of gave it to the white guy. I forget his name. He started at ETSU and then transferred out to Boise State. And he was just making post moves. He was just hitting them with post moves, like up and under shimmies and boom, boom, boom. Then he blew past Musa for a layup that gave them the lead or it tied the game up. It's like, if that needs to be addressed next year. Obviously, there's going to be some growth from Musa on the defensive end. So you think that might be it. But if we don't have another real big coming in, there's going to be issues like that for next year too.
Yeah, and what happened was he got going because DeAndre Williams once again picked up his 4th foul. Just what was it? It was something completely like unnecessary where he got his 4th foul. Unsurprising. But then we went to a small lineup because Malcolm wasn't giving you anything, and right. I mean Musa ain't played in the deep in the second half most of the season. So him coming in, you knew it was kind of bad news bears when he had to come in because I think DJ was playing the 5 for a while, and that's when Armas, I think was his name, got going, and and then you bring Musa in, and it doesn't matter, and then Lester's still over there on the bench.
Yeah, M. Armas was his name.
Yeah, it's so funny to me. Like we came out of a timeout and take the ball out of bounds, and for like 5 seconds you can hear Cody Toppert yelling, "They're in man, they're in man, they're in man," until like our players recognize that, oh, they're like in man defense, like and they know which play to run then. And it's like it just takes you back to the basketball IQ of this team.
There was one time they tried to run a set. I guess they had blew the lead in the second half because at one point they had a 9 or 11 point lead in the second half, and they had blew that, and they had come down trying to run a play in a 1-4 set, 1-4 high set. And Boogie got it and threw it in. Everybody was pointing at everybody else, telling everybody what's to go. They finally got set, and then the play that they ran, they didn't even run a real play. And Penny, to his credit, was on the sideline. He just dropped his head and was like, I don't know. Like I told them to run. I gave them the play to run. They just didn't run it. So like that has to be taken care of. I'm even thinking bigger picture for all this stuff like that. All of that stuff has to be taken care of next year. And maybe having A-Lo run the show, having A-Lo on the court is going to take care of all of that.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, even though DeAndre Williams is 24, these other guys are still young, and I think they were immature when they came into college, and they're still going through that maturation process of learning how to play team basketball. And tonight, we kind of got out of playing team basketball. We didn't kind of get out of it. We completely got out of it because when we went to that small ball lineup, everybody was trying to take Armas one-on-one.
Yeah.
We had like 2 shots back to back where Boogie hit one or DJ hit one, then Boogie hit one. But for the most part, that did not work out for us. So it's
on the wing, Boogie got the ball on the wing with Armas guarding him, and Penny waved everybody away. He like, "Yo, let him work, let him work." He took one dribble in a sidestep 3. Bro,
it's so crazy. Like how that would never happen when we were growing up. Like in the mid 2000s, late 90s, like. Pick up, you get the big man on you. It's like, all right, like you better be ready to move your feet because
I'm about to make him fall. I'm going to try to make him fall, and with the simplest crossover between the legs cross or like an in and out cross, all you got to do is do that with some velocity, and the big man is falling down. But no, they shoot step back, side step 3s, and it's like, bro, what you doing?
I mean, I wasn't really making no big man fall down. I was more like trying to get him to show a foot up high so I could attack it, you know.
Well, to be clear, I never made anyone fall down. Never at all. But
bro, you remember that 3 you hit on me at White Station from the logo? Like you were JJ Redick at Duke? I'll never forget that 3, man. I ain't played defense since.
Why I'm gonna play defense and he hitting shots like that, bro? Why I'm gonna play defense, coach? Man, we had some fun times hooping there. Maybe we'll get those back. I hadn't played basketball in a year.
Yeah, it'd be about like a Space Jam once they lost their powers going into the gym for me.
I got my powers back, but no, it was speaking of like the game as a whole, it was good to see DJ be aggressive. He took 10 shots tonight, and then sometimes he was like the only offense that the team had in the second half was kind of get the ball to him and let him do some things. So that was good. You talked about Landers. Thank God we won this game because I would hate for this to be the game that Landers leaves on, or this is the last one because he was terrible.
Yeah, it was really rough. He still gives you effort on defense, but to me, the star of the show was DJ, even though he only had 11 points and missed all his threes. 5 of 7 from 2, though. And he made some big plays down the stretch.
Yeah.
Once it was tied up, or we might have been down by 2. I'm not sure. But Boogie did a turnaround right in the middle of the lane, fade, missed it, and DJ came through and tapped the rebound to Lester for the putback.
Yeah, I think that tied it. Either tied it or put us up by 1. It's one of the I can't remember. I didn't write it down. Yeah.
And then DJ right after that played some really good defense. DeAndre Williams got beat. DJ came over, stayed right in front of, or got vertical in front of the guy, forced him to shoot a floater. He missed it. Williams got the rebound and hit both free throws. We only made 6, and 2 of them were those DeAndre Williams ones. And then I think Landers hit 1 right at the end.
Yep, and those free throws were big. Those are big free throws.
So we made 3 of our 6 free throws in the entire game on 4 of our last attempts.
So the topic, Jeff Calkins asked John Martin and Jason Smith on their show today, what can you do to help them shoot better free throws? Like, what can Penny do? What can the coaching staff do to make them better free throw shooters? And he was like, you listen to all these other, coaches, and they say they don't shoot free throws at the end of practice. They shoot them like during practice or during a drill or something, like kind of get them in the in the mode of shooting free throws during a game situation instead of just like, all right, everybody shoot 10 and, and come in. But if this team doesn't do better at shooting free throws, it's gonna be a long couple years, dog. Like you just imagine, like you could have won. They've lost 8 games. You could have won 4 of the 8 games you lost just by making free throws.
I mean, I don't know what you can do, bro. Like there's nothing that can replicate the game environment. But even now, the game environment right now is so different because you don't have 20,000 fans screaming at you while you're shooting. You just got, maybe that's worse. Maybe you just got pressure. Like, but I don't know. Like, I'm starting to believe it's just the Memphis curse right now. Like,
I don't know.
It's different players, it's different teams, and like they walk up to the line, it's like there's no hope.
I'm trying to think of all the teams I've been around. Like, did we do anything special with free throws? Do you start the practice with free throws? Do you end the practice with free throws? Do you, put them in the I don't know. Like, do you make them run for missing free throws? Do you give them money for making free throws? Like, I don't know what you do.
Campbell might be onto something in the comments. He said, give them shoes and chings.
Hey, get you a free 10-piece every time we shoot above 60% from the free throw line. No, 14 turnovers tonight, not too bad. Yeah, like you're just looking for small things of growth, and you're just wondering who's going to be on this team next year. Because like as much as I like the kid, I don't really. If Boogie ain't wearing a Tigers jersey next year, I'm not really gonna care about his growth as a basketball player.
No, of course not. I mean, in theory, yes, but as a fan, no.
Right.
But, I mean, the deeper they go on this run, I think the better the chances are of most of the main guys coming back. Like we know the speculation about there's Boogie. It's been there for 2 seasons. DJ is always going to be there because he's the local guy, unless he starts performing well, which I think like probably the last 10 games, DJ has shown me he's been a different player than he was most of the season, and he's kind of lighting that spark again. Like, remember who I was when I came in? Remember who y'all thought I was? And at the end of the day, he was like a 50 in the 50s or 60s as a prospect. Like, we have to get out of this mindset of thinking guys like that who are just top 100 guys are going to come in and just change the program around immediately. Like, that's not how it works. It's just, and Moose is a 5-star, but if you thought he was going to come in and change the program, you've never watched him or don't know basketball, one of the two.
And you can tell that a lot of people that don't know anything about the hierarchy of Memphis high school basketball were so excited because he averaged 28 points and 14 rebounds and 17 blocks. He was playing 5'5" white boys in private school. Like, what I'm saying? That's who he was in. So not to take away with that from what he's doing, because obviously he's a really good defensive player, but he has a lot to learn. And all of his skills are raw skills that you have to teach. And you know what? Let's go there, Campbell, since you said it. And speaking of teaching these raw skills, Penny ain't gonna have nobody to teach nobody nothing, because he just lost assistant Tony Matlock to South Carolina State. He's going to be the head coach of South Carolina State, HBCU in South Carolina. So I'm assuming that when this tournament run is over, he will start in earnest there. And I don't think he's going to take any players with him because these players are way too good for that level. But he might take a few staffers with him, and all that means is that Penny has to hire 2 new assistants, unless he's going to keep JJ, which is an option. But he's still going to have to do the assistant hire again, and Penny's judgment on hiring assistants is still out. Like, we still don't know what he does, what he's looking for.
Yeah, but it's also, I look at it as an opportunity. A lot of time coaches can be tied to recruits. I'm not sure if there are any left out there for some of the top recruits, but it could be a way to get some more talent or a transfer even. But I think this coaching staff has been underwhelming for 3 years now, even with Mike Miller. Yes, they were able to get some guys, and that was super impressive. But outside of the defense, which has also been amazing, top 5 last 2 years. But offensively and just like, I don't know, Like Penny it feels like if Penny had another really good tactician or something out on the sidelines with him, and not to say Topper's not, because I know Topper interviewed for a head coaching job in New Mexico or New Mexico State, I believe, and was a finalist for it. Yeah, so I think Topper's a super like smart dude when it comes to basketball, but I don't know. Coaching is the only thing that people harp on. Like, it's not the talent that the Tigers have or anything. And it's just, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of gives some hope that maybe at one point Penny wanted to hire Larry Brown. And I don't think that's going to happen, but an older, veteran coach, which I guess that was Madlock. What do you think? What do you think they should do?
I think he has to go to a former head coach for one of the spots. If you're going to keep JJ, keep JJ, but JJ is going to be your third assistant. If you're going to hire somebody to be your associate head coach, you got to go get a former head coach. Maybe they don't have to be like an older former head coach, but a former head coach, like who got fired? No, their names are too big, but you know what I'm saying? So, like somebody who is maybe at a lower level who got fired, or
like Buzz Peterson or something.
maybe you go get a Buzz Peterson, somebody that you can think. I can't think of a good example because I don't know exactly like who all got away. Like I'm just using his name, but this is not the person I would think. Terry Porter, another NBA guy who coached at the University of Portland for the last 3 or 4 years, had a little bit of success at Portland. Obviously didn't win much, but NBA guy, NBA head coach at the time, college head coach at the time, like somebody else who can kind of help you with some stuff like, stuff like that. Maybe some connections to recruits, somebody like that. That's not the name I would use, but that's just the phenotype of a coach that you would look for.
Yeah. And I mean, Penny took over the offense and it's been better. It hasn't been, good by any means, but it's been a lot better. So I don't think like coaching is a weakness, but I think it's a point of opportunity to grow, I guess.
Right. And and I've been critical of Topper because Topper was the one that's supposed to be helping the growth, like skill development. And I ain't seen much skill development in a lot of these folks. I mean, Musa can hit the backboard now with a jump shot. So I guess that's some development. But he's that. Outside of the just natural progression that the players have, I don't know if I've seen that much growth from them individually, but they grew as a team. And I think we said it a few times in this last week or two that a month and a half ago at the beginning of this year, they wouldn't have won a game like this. They would have lost this game. But you see they rallied together, came back, and they won the game.
And although we can't point to specifics, like I think we got to admit that as something they got better somewhere along the way because they don't suck anymore. So and like we can't point out things individually, but they are all, whether it's just taking care of the ball and not having 26 turnovers, like that's a point of improvement. So like I go back to when they came in, maybe we're a little too high on what they could be. Like you're an Arizona fan, so like when a 4-star comes in for you, he might play a big role as a freshman, but he's not counted on to be the guy or anything. And when James Wiseman and Precious were here, like they were counted on to be the guy. So expectations were rightfully high, like if those two play a whole college season, then they're going to be nasty. But when it's just Precious and a bunch of 4-star freshmen, that's a whole different ball game, especially with a guy who's as raw as Precious.
Yeah. I can look at this team now. This last Arizona team. We had a guy, Dalen Terry. Dalen Terry was a 4-star, one of the best players out of the state of Arizona. Memphis had actually offered him and he was pretty high. Memphis was pretty high on his list, but he ended up staying in state and going to Arizona. And like Dalen probably averaged 15 minutes a game as a 4-star. He wasn't relied upon to be that much. Now next year, if he stays, who knows? Everybody's transferring like 1,000 kids in the transfer portal. The role is going to be bigger, and we'll be eligible for postseason tournament again and all this other stuff. So the pressure changes then too. And maybe maybe there is a addition by subtraction thing that might happen if you lose a few of these transfers. Maybe, Boogie leaves and you get a big, or DJ leaves. I don't know who might leave. Campbell's talking about Malcolm might go. Malcolm would kill at the HBCU level. I'll tell you that much. Jaden.
Hey, can we give my boy some credit when the team needed a basket? Jaden takes Luke Longley one-on-one. Does a crossover, but doesn't really cross him up. Doesn't get by him or anything, but doesn't get the and one. But the big bucket and the flex. Jaden's first 2 points of the game, just flexing on him.
Hey, bro, you didn't even really need to flex on, dude. You bounced off his spike. It wasn't that much need to flex. But get yours, bro. Get yours.
And Jaden also had a huge offensive rebound in the first half that led to a nollie bucket there towards the end of the first half. So maybe it wasn't huge. It might have been a little overrating. But my boy Jaden, man, making some plays. And like I said, tonight there was times when guys just couldn't be on the floor. They were turning the ball over so bad. So and then when Williams gets his fourth foul, Malco's not giving you anything, and Moose is really not ready for the moment. Like, people are like, "Why is Jaden playing?" But you can't play any of those three. So
who else you gonna play? Like, you gotta put somebody in there, and I mean, we all understand Jaden's limitations and what he can do, but that's what Jaden was never going to be a player that needed to play more than 20 minutes for this team.
Yeah, every team has guys like that.
He gonna max out everything in 12 minutes or 10 minutes. Like, he just needs 10 minutes a game. Spread out, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, 3 minutes here, whatever. That's all it was, man. Don't call my boy radio, dog. I'll tell you one thing too, and the ref actually called these dudes out on it. Because Lander started laughing and said, I might as well try. It was toward the end of the game, and Boise State drove the ball, and they called Damian Ball blocked the shot, and they called a foul.
Oh, yeah.
And they started twirling their fingers like, look at the review, look at the review. And the ref, like, I noticed it, and I was like, I hate that. But then, like, the ref, they cut to a closer shot, getting lined up on the free throw line, and Lander's like laughing because the ref is probably telling him, like, bro, like, this ain't the NBA. He said, you can read this, say, I just thought I would try. I'm like, bro, but it was like 4 of them that did it. Like, yo, review. I'm like, bro, it's college. They ain't reviewing that.
Yeah, it did look like a good block, but Ball had
it did look like a good block.
He had a big one in the first half too. Like, I think he sprinted full court and blocked a guy right at the rim again. So, there's all these guys have flashes of like, oh, he could do that all the time, and they all just keep us holding on to a little bit of hope. But anyways, that's enough about the game. Tigers win 59-56, move on to play Colorado State on Saturday. I don't know what time.
Another Mountain West foe.
Yeah. So who you got for player of the game?
I'm going to go with DJ Jeffries. An aggressive DJ makes this team that much more dominant, that much more dangerous. So DJ Jeffries.
Yeah, I wanted to go with Lester, but he was just so quiet. And his 10 points and 7 rebounds, like, team leader in stats. But I'm going to go with DJ because I think he's turning that corner.
Bum of the game. You know who my bum of the game is? I saw it once. When I saw it, I said I'm gonna make my bum of the game, and I didn't do more research. I don't know what ball they're playing with. But they need to go back to I don't know if that's a new Wilson ball.
It was Wilson, because when it got wedgied at one point, the Wilson read clearly, but it was like 2 different colors.
They need to go to the real Wilson. That's an outdoor Wilson ball, or they got too much air in it, because it just the bum of the game is Wilson for making them play with that basketball.
Yeah, or the NIT for having that deal with that basketball. I'm gonna go with the rim, especially the rim on the right of the TV. Dude, so many shots. Like, both teams were robbed of 10 points in that game. Like, the game could have been so much more fun if that rim wasn't so tight. Shots going down and out and just clanking. So I hate that. And as a shooter, you gotta hate that, man.
Yep. Tight rims. Play of the game. What you got?
Oh, play of the game. Honestly, I really like the Musa opposite kick out of the zone. But I think I'm going to go with DJ tipping that offensive rebound to Lester to put us ahead by 2 late in the game.
I'm going to go with the 2 free throws that DeAndre Williams made, because that almost all but solidified the victory. So I'm going to give DeAndre Williams the play of the game by making 2 free throws, the most mundane play of the game ever, but it's about a dub.
Well, did you win any money?
So here's the thing, the spread was 4.5. Obviously, so I bet the spread, obviously. So no, I didn't win any money, but we had a chance to win some money. It ended up being 59-56. At one point, At one point, the Tigers were up. It must have been 58 to 54, or 58 to 55. It was 58 to 55. That's what it was. With 13 seconds left or whatever. 58, 55. Boise's ball. And I'm like, okay, if Boise misses a shot in the Tigers get the rebound, they're going to foul. Boise going to take a quick shot because it's 13 seconds left. They're down by 3. They're going to take a quick shot. They're going to miss it. We're going to get it. They're going to foul. They're going to go make 2 free throws, win the game by 5 points. Boise ends up getting fouled, make the first free throw, miss the second on purpose. Then Landers gets the rebound and goes down there, makes 1 free throw, misses the second. And so we had a path. It was a path, but didn't work out. So I lost some money today.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we wouldn't be doing right by Penny and the coaching staff and the team in general if we didn't bring that up, because all throughout March we've seen teams mishandle that situation over and over and over again. And our team, who leads the nation in dumb fouls and unforced turnovers, when the game's close, up by 3, foul. Not only do we foul when up 3, we executed to perfection. Like, the clock's down to like 3 seconds. Boogie's man, like, just getting by him, and he fouls him. Like, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. So when we talk about that this team is still learning how to win, it's little things like that help you win games against Houston and lose games.
Yep.
I was impressed by that, because
that was good.
And it's something so little, but like you said earlier, this team could not have done that earlier in the season and executed that.
Yeah, a couple months ago, they either fouling too early, or they fouling when somebody's shooting the
4-point play, and then we lose the game.
So you look at that and you take that. So, well, we can do a quick. Well, there's a lot of trades that happen in the NBA. Well, we can talk about that tomorrow when the Grizzlies play.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. So in the meantime, y'all can find me on Twitter at BarnBurnerSlim. If you made it this long, you probably already know, but you can subscribe to the show in podcast/audio format. Maybe they should have called it Padios.
That's what we calling it. Audio.
Just search All Memphis Post Game. Subscribe, leave us a review, 5 stars. And yeah, man, tell a friend to tell a friend. Jay, where can they find you and the rest of the show?
They can find me on Twitter at Nerdy McFly. They can find the show on Facebook at the Kickback Pod, and they can see us on YouTube at Diamond in the Bluff Media. Like May said, make sure you tell a friend to subscribe. If you subscribe, rate and review. I'm about to say rate and comment, but rate and review, so we know you like what you're listening to. And yeah, we're gonna talk about some of this NBA stuff tomorrow. They play again on Saturday, you said?
Yeah, Tigers play Saturday, so we'll have a double show Saturday. Tigers
play Saturday, and yeah, we will catch y'all then with on the next patio. So
I did too much dancing, man. I can't think straight.
With that being said, that is Mace. I am Jamal, and we are out.
Could be a triple show.